So we are going to discuss a broad conversation around next year's Rising Star Award. Who can win it? We're going to look at we're going to discuss the players obviously taken in this week's national draft and I suppose the rookie draft as well. We also are going to canvass the previous couple of drafts to see which players are still eligible and discuss whether they're likely. There does seem to be a little bit of a bias against players who are not in their first year, but it has happened before with players not in their first year. I'm just laughing at Felix's comment there. He's bang on with that one. But there is a bias, it seems, against players not playing their first year, but it has happened. So maybe we can just riffle through, if that's a word, some of the previous winners.
Can be.
Yeah. Murphy Reid won it last year. Ollie Dempsey the year before. Was Ollie Dempsey in his first year? I think he was.
Yeah, but he wasn't that age.
Right. Okay.
He was older.
Gotcha. Harry Sheasel, Nick Dacos, and Luke Jackson. Luke Jackson won it in his second year, I reckon, 2021. So he must have been eligible still, obviously. Caleb Sarong won it in 2020. And Sam Walsh won it in 19. Jaden Stevenson, North legend, who potentially is training
with Port Adelaide.
Yeah, absolutely. Capping off a ripping off season for the Port Adelaide Footy Club. Andy McGrath, Callum Mills, and Jesse Hogan. So that's two key position players in the mix. We do see it tends to go to smaller players and generally in their first season. And then you get to names like Lewis Taylor, possibly one of the more out-of-the-box ones on the list. Jager O'Meara, and then Daniel Talia, 2012. Dyson Heppel robbed Luke Shuey in 2011 and Dan Hannery 2010. So, yeah, you can see it tends to be a first-year player. I suppose with key position players, they might be a bit more lenient against, okay, it's his second season because it's probably not fair.
Yeah.
Right?
Did Curtin come second this year?
Yeah, I reckon he did.
Or did he come third to Ashcroft second?
I thought Curtin second, Ashcroft
That's what I
third.
thought
Because the Brisbane Lions put up that post, didn't they? Yeah.
The Levi Ashcroft hate.
Absolutely. So I was thinking we can go through. So for the eligibility of the Rising Star, you've got to be 21 and under by the start of that year.
Yep.
Which means that you can be in your third season on an AFL list. That is possible. But you can't have played more than 10 games. So 11, you're ineligible, but 10, you are eligible. So just quickly through the 2023 draft, it's probably hard to see a player in this third year winning it. But some players who haven't played 10 or more games include Phoenix Goddard, yet to debut, Will Green, the ruckman, Jordan Croft. I've seen enough from Jordan Croft to suggest he could actually potentially have an out-of-the-box season.
That is not a bad shout because he finished the season really, really well.
He did. Everyone plays well against West Coast, but I think he debuted against us, kicked a couple. You could see the talent level. So I wouldn't rule that out.
And there's a spot for him there.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Will McCabe, Taylor Goad, Charlie Edwards yet to debut. Will Dawson still eligible as well, probably against it, you'd think. Oscar Ryan.
None of those guys are jumping off the page.
No, that's why I'm sort of skipping through them. You're getting into your Liam Fawcett's now.
Yep.
And your Tom Anastopoulos, who I think is not even on the list anymore. So that's
what if we fast forward that to 2024?
Absolutely.
Look at those guys because I reckon, given the strength of that draft, this will put the two drafts up against each other because there's plenty of players in 2024 that would be eligible.
Yep.
And they'll be competing directly with a bunch of players that are coming into the AFL in their first year now.
Absolutely. So we'll start at the top. And Sam Lawler is actually ineligible. He's played 11 games.
Oh, Sam.
Yeah, had he played one less game, he'd be eligible for the Rising Star Award in 2025.
So disappointing.
Yeah. Poor list management.
Yeah,
should have just dropped him.
It is really. Yeah.
But we do have Jagger Smith at pick 3, who would have been a contender this year, you'd imagine, just given the ability to win the footy against any size of opposition, like he did it at VFL level for a start. He is coming off the ACL, which makes it tougher, but obviously yet to debut. You'd think he'd be a chance.
I've seen a couple of little sneaky training videos, and he looks like he's covering the ground really, really well. You never know until he actually gets into a match. Again, with that type of player, I always say this, they're like a genuine inside mid that doesn't have a lot of positional flexibility. He's got to get into the team first. Like he's got to put down one of those midfield spots and get a decent amount of centre bounces to be able to impact. Do you think he gets that at Carlton?
I think he can't play anywhere else, to be honest.
Yeah.
So like if they're going to put him in the team, they better give him midfield minutes. And I think it's possible. I get where you're coming from. You got like Cripps and Hewitt and Walsh, and there's other competition there, but I think they could give him a good shot in there.
I think with where the list is at, they automatically just give him minutes. Even if, they don't necessarily think they probably have, Cripps ahead of him, Hewitt ahead of him, Chera ahead of him. I mean, he's probably next on talent anyway to come in. Would that be fair? So he'll just play as that kind of 50 to 60% guy.
Yeah, it is possible to ease him in coming off the ACL. I don't know exactly where that sits. He did it in the preseason from memory, so therefore, like he should be available round one. But it is possible they ease him in and he plays VFL to start. That doesn't mean he couldn't win the award still. So you think he's a genuine candidate, I would say.
Genuine.
Sid Draper has played 10 games. Probably seems less likely than a Jagger, but again, a similar player from the point of view that there is a decent amount of form against Sandford level players, right? So you just think that the step up is not too hard for a Sid Draper, and Adelaide is a strong team, potentially in contention again next year. So it's about how much do they expose him, but they're also a team needing dynamic midfielders and dynamic midfield support.
I found it quite unusual that they didn't give him more exposure this season. Like I know he did come off the sub bench a little bit, but of all of the players, I think he actually performed really, really well when he got opportunity. Like he kicked the odd goal coming on as a sub. He showed that explosiveness that we saw, and it was, as you said, it was one of those like key things that Adelaide it felt like they needed.
Yes.
Just a little bit more dynamic in the midfield. And sometimes I think clubs can be a little bit conservative and not trust those players in their first season to get it done. And I think he's got the mentality, Sid Draper, to be able to do it. I think we'll see a lot more of him this season. Comparing him and Jagger Smith, I think the thing will be that kind of like volume versus impact, because I think Draper will have those moments and he'll show that speed. But often I find with these Rising Star Awards, they get to the end of the season and they want to see your numbers. And if Sid Draper doesn't necessarily have the numbers, if he's averaging 15 off a half forward flank compared to Jagger Smith averaging 25 in the midfield, they'll give it to Jagger. Yeah,
true. Nonetheless, I think Draper is still a contender because I believe he can step up. So
absolutely,
still in the mix. Josh Smiley has not debuted. You'd think maybe, like he had a bit of a disjointed year. Didn't he get injured right at the start of the season?
He's injured now.
He's injured now. Okay. I forget the exact details, but
quad.
Bigger bodied midfielder. Again, I think these types take longer. Jagger Smith's smaller, but I think he plays a little bit. He can win so much uncontested footy as well, in addition. So I think, therefore, like the difference between him and Smiley, I think Smiley's going to have a harder time playing his own role than Jagger would his, if that makes sense, just to add some contrast there. And there's Taranto and Hopper in that midfield. They may be patient with Smiley.
I almost think at this point now that the injuries are borderlining on chronic for Josh Smiley.
Yeah, right.
That when he actually does get into the AFL, they might try a roll across half back or something like that.
Okay.
Just to ease him in a little bit.
Yeah, he played a decent amount of half back, didn't he, in his top age?
Yeah, as a junior. Yeah, for sure. Played a bit forward, played a little bit back as well. So he's a pretty good kick. So he has that flexibility to him, which I spoke about before. So I think it's less likely than likely given the injuries, and I think that's going to be hard for him to juggle mentally as well. I think now you see from these players, like they come back to training, he's missed that season now and he's worried and he wants to catch up, and then he pushes himself harder and he gets re-injured again. That's going to be it's going to be more mental, I think, for him than anything else.
Yeah, I would say not a genuine contender. Not going to rule anyone out, but in comparison to the other two, I can't say they're all genuine contenders, right? And then we've got a funny one. Leo Lombard has played 4 games for the Gold Coast Suns. From a talent point of view and a readiness point of view, I think yes. From a opportunity point of view, it's a little bit tougher. But I think he's a sneaky one.
So Sam Flanders leaves, instant role.
Yeah.
Zeke Hewland comes in, Dylan Patterson comes in. They're probably the only ones that could genuinely take that position. Jake Rogers is sitting there as well. I think Lombard's better than Rogers.
As do I. I think from the ability to like play well. He was doing that at 16. He's a VFL premiership player at 16. I think with his dynamic skill set.
Lark medalist.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's just the opportunity piece. I think if he gets games, maybe if it was a different club, it would be a no-brainer to say he's a real top contender. But it just remains to be seen where Gold Coast are and what risks they're willing to take.
I think there's also that with Gold Coast, there is that small forward role up for grabs. There's different positions across that half forward line and a bit closer to goal that he could grab. And, he's pretty opportunistic around goal. Has a great combination of accumulation and explosiveness as well. So, yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Alex Taru just played 10 games, but I thought showed a lot in his first season as an intercept player with his spoiling and leap. I think he's a genuine contender, to be honest.
Do you really?
I do.
Interesting.
I do. I think his development arc and the rate of improvement from Ataru puts him squarely in the mix here to be one of those second-year key position rising star players.
Yeah, well, he had
Candidates.
the back, what do you call them? Stress fractures in the back, right? To the beginning of last year. So he came in and he played late. He's really he was, I think, December born. So he's one of those guys that's like the youngest in his draft crop. Could have almost pretty close to being able to go in this crop. So he's really competing with these guys. I do think from a positional point of view, I see less likely than likely, just because he is going to have to defend. He's going to have to play on like some bigger bodied forwards. So I still think he's going to have inconsistency of performance in the role that he's doing.
I think that could make the role easy for him, though.
They could.
If they just allow him to run and jump at the ball, I think that's the recipe for a rising star.
Do you think Silvani unlocks him a bit?
Yeah. Yeah. And Cal Wilkie's still there.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think it through. Like they didn't get Aaliyah, but then they get Silvani, who probably plays a similar role, unless he plays forward. But what if Tyree plays forward, though? Because I think that's still on the cards, and he has trained there a bit.
That would make it much harder.
Yeah.
You'd think to win the rising star, you probably need to kick 25 goals plus.
Yeah.
As a key forward, I probably would rule him out if he played forward. I just think it's harder. But if they carve out a role for him, we can look good running and jumping. And I do think longer term he's a great prospect. But I think there's an opportunity there.
Okay.
He's going to get his hands on the footy, in my opinion.
I'd still say less likely than likely, but
Fair.
I like where you're going with it.
Taj Houghton played 7 games coming off the ACL, looked really good. Maybe not from a numbers point of view, but one of those guys when he gets the footy, you just know that he's dangerous and he can play footy. Again, I do think the ability to find the footy consistently will. But not saying that that's a weakness, just saying that he hasn't done that in his first season from the 7 games he played. Because he was finding the footy in prior to the ACL in his draft year. But I think numbers are important. So if he can find the footy more consistently, I think he is also a contender here from a talent point of view.
It certainly matters when you're talking about awards, being able to get that volume.
Yeah.
Because you kind of need certain positions, particularly, you just sort of need that for what they're looking at the end of the season. It's the same with what you said about the forwards. Like he needs 25 plus goals. It's kind of the same if he plays mid. I think you have moments. I think Taj Houghton in this draft crop will probably look in 5 years' time and he'll be like a top 3 prospect in the crop. But I don't think he's going to win the rising star. I think he's 2 moments based at this point.
Fair. I'll say he's a contender, but I would rank him behind certainly like a Jagger Smith.
Sure.
And who else do we say? Maybe even no. I think he's a decent chance because he can find the footy. He can find
the footy. And Devil's Advocate, he gets a game, undoubtedly.
That's true.
Compared to some of the others. So he's got a higher floor in that sense.
Yeah. That's right. And I think comparing the competition for a spot as an outside midfielder in that team is just not that strong.
Yeah.
Compared to maybe some other prospects.
Agree.
Then moving past that, there's probably just some other first round picks or kids that look really good that haven't played 10 games, but I don't think are really a shot. So Bo Allen's played 6. It's hard to imagine him having a season where he wins the rising star. He'd have to emulate Dan Curtin as a forward mid.
Yeah.
And I don't think he does it as an intercept defender or a pure wing. But, it's exciting enough.
It's a good point. I mean, if we had have done this video end of last year, we would have said Dan Curtin. We would have put him straight into the less likely than likely.
Yeah. For sure.
And he comes second.
Yeah.
So
there was a bit of a positional switch there as well with Dan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that could easily happen to Bo.
It could happen. There's just a few things need to go right there.
Yes.
He's not a very high volume player. So I don't think he's a contender.
He
but
looked
worth
a little
mentioning.
in his first season to me. And I think this happens so often with players that go to struggling clubs, but he just looked a bit raw.
Sure.
It was all kind of, he's running around a lot, but he's making a lot of mistakes. He's misusing the ball, stuff like that. So
yeah,
I think, it's hard to see, isn't it? Albeit I do hope he bounces back a little bit in 26.
Yeah. Harry Armstrong was a first rounder that only played 8 games. Again, he'd need to have a big season, as would Job Shanahan, who I put here as a kid who looked really good. I almost think Job's more likely than say Harry, because I think he's going to be a really strong focal point.
I was going to say definitely more likely, because I think Harry Armstrong will be 3rd or 4th banana.
Exactly.
But Job might be number 1.
Yeah, and it's just a case of kicking 30 goals. I don't think I could rule that out for Job. I probably wouldn't predict it, but if he kicks 30 goals, he'd be a contender.
So Waterman comes back.
Yeah.
Jack Williams, you think will play forward?
I do, but I actually think Job would comfortably start ahead. So I think you got Waterman, Shanahan. And I think they'd actually at the end of the season, Bailey Williams was preferred to Jack. He struggled at the end of the year.
I'm actually coming around to this the more that it's getting put in my head.
I don't think he wins the Rising Star, but could he like go closer than maybe what people think? Maybe
He could be top 3.
it would require a big season, but I'm a big fan of Job, and I'll say that Job's far more likely than a Bo Allen. Personally.
Is he having a good preseason?
I think they've just come back. I haven't really had a chance to really read the reports, but nothing to suggest.
I'm actually going to put him up there.
Yeah.
I think you've talked me around with the fact that he becomes more of a beacon.
Yeah, like if he got drafted to Geelong, he's probably not getting a game for a start.
Exactly.
So it's the position and the opportunity, I think.
It's so circumstantial with these rising stars. Who you got next?
I think that was most of the guys from so we've just gone through the 2024 draft as first rounders. I'll just have a quick skim to see if there's anyone else I'm missing, and maybe the chat can let us know as well. But other players that were eligible, I mean, Hannaford and Oliver, probably pretty niche options to Tolley.
They'll be, particularly Hannaford, I think he'll be a role player.
Yeah.
But he's not going to become like the main guy over like a Brent Daniels or someone like that.
Yeah, exactly. It feels like it's harder to get into that team. So other than that, you're looking at probably later in the draft, and I'm not sure as far as 2024 goes, if there's too many contenders.
Saw Ty Gallop there. He'd be ineligible.
Ty Gallop. I reckon he'd be available. 42?
Yeah.
6 games.
It's on.
Good pickup. Pickup. I actually had missed that.
Just saw that there. He's already cracked into the team, premiership player.
Yep.
And their forward line's a bit different, isn't it? It's not sort of they haven't got that. Like they've obviously got Logan Morris as kind of the main guy, but he's not a key forward.
They got Oscar and Draper now though.
Forgot about Oscar.
Yeah, that does actually hurt his chance.
It does.
Yeah,
it does. It's actually difficult now to see how he actually even fits into the team.
Yeah,
which is disappointing because he played so well last year.
So that was all I had pretty much for the 2024 draft.
Gridio's just asked, he's given a super chat. Thanks very much, mate. Any call-ins today? We're not going to do any call-ins today. We just didn't get all the gear set up in time to get it out today, but that'll be a big part of the show next year for sure. So we're going to give a lot more opportunity for that.
Yeah.
100%.
Maybe just I'll name some players who are not eligible next year very quickly just to make it clear for the audience like why we're ignoring some players. Sure. But like a Joe Barry's played too many. Murphy Reid certainly has. Kako's played every game just about. Jonty Fall too many. And Thomas Sims, I think, played too many. Luke Traynor played 21. Sam Marshall played 11. Okay, he's ineligible as well. So yeah, that was why
also
we didn't.
A premiership player.
Yeah, that's crazy. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Travaglia's played 12. So
yeah, Foss would have played like 20 odd, wouldn't he?
Yeah, 22.
Yeah.
That's right. So, with that being said, let's start talking about the 2025 draft because I think we've summarised there's strong competition there from the 2024 draft.
I actually love it though because everyone's asked which draft is stronger. Like, you'll get to see.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true, particularly at the top end. So, who do you think out of maybe the top 10? Well, we'll start from the top and move down. Willem Dersma. Can he win the Rising Star?
He can. He can win the Rising Star. Do I think he will? Probably not. Again, coming down to position a little bit more than anything else. I think when he's played, likely for me, he'll start as a halfback player, someone that intercepts a little bit and runs off the halfback flank. He hasn't been particularly high volume in that role. He's kind of done a little bit more defensive work and stuff like that. So I think he can play a good role for West Coast, but not a Rising Star level award winner, let's say. And I don't think at AFL level, I think he'll be a little bit too raw in the midfield to get the disposal. So I think there's other better candidates ahead of him that'll step in and play better in round 1, 2026.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I actually not sure I agree he's not a serious contender. I think that you can absolutely win the Rising Star with 18 possessions a game off halfback. So if he's getting a stack of intercept marks and using his line breaking pace and gets it 17 times a game, I mean, Murphy Reid didn't have a high volume season.
That was a Sheasel Dacos-esque season off halfback that won Rising Stars.
That's true. But I think Dersma can probably offer more. I mean, I'm not saying he's better than Dacos, but I mean, like, probably more of a exciting line breaker that I think will get attention.
Yeah.
With his movement and his ability to get through traffic and is the aerial game.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's probably the difference.
Be lower volume.
Yeah. He's not going to win 30.
Yeah.
Well, if he does, it'll be once, if that. But I agree. It'd probably be like high teens. I think that'd be enough to be in the conversation. I'm not saying he's the favourite. Zeke Euland's got to be a serious chance, I reckon.
Yeah, I mean, the only jeopardy around Zeke Euland would be getting into the team, which I think he will. I think there's enough spots there and he's versatile enough to do it for sure. Maybe a little caveat would be that he has had these back stress fractures and like how much does that affect him with preparation and stuff like that. But he will have, like he's pretty fit now. I think he did the combine, so he's going to have a decent run into the season. So you can't really hold that against him. And yeah, I think you're right. I think from this draft crop, he's as likely as anyone.
Yeah, I agree. Probably like body permitting, probably the number one from this draft in my opinion.
I think so, just about.
I wouldn't go Harry Dean or Cooper Duff-Tytler as key position prospects. Like unless CDT like starts winning the ball as a midfielder, like that seems pretty unlikely. I think we'd have to say,
like I've said a few times in the lead up to the draft, Luke Jackson won it as a similar type player, but he was sitting in his second year, but sitting behind Max Gawn. Like the likelihood of this happening is it's just so rare, isn't it?
Yeah, unless they deployed him in a weird role and then he
it
won.
just worked.
Yeah, it's possible, but not a serious contender. I wouldn't have thought.
Yep.
Dill Patterson, though. Again, it comes down to opportunity.
Yep.
Definitely a contender.
High volume. Has the physicality.
Yeah.
To do it at the top level. Has the pace. Has the nous, and has the traits that the people will watch him play and be super, super excited about him. I know that there needs to be some substance to that as well. It can't just be moments, but kind of has showed that. One of the most consistent players across the season. I still remember that game he played against Western Australia where they pretty much had to win with the final kick of the game, and he just did this like marauding run around Western Australian players like they were cones and then kick the ball inside forward 50. So yeah, he'd be up there as well. Again, getting into the team. Does he get in over Rioli, Noble, Will Powell? He might be someone that just comes off the bench a bit, but...
Yeah, opportunity again. And the same with Dan Annable. I think from a ready-made point of view, Dan Annable would be a serious contender. And we just don't know where he fits into the midfield that boasts two Ashcrofts, let alone McCluggage, Neil.
Yeah.
It's just hard to imagine him getting serious time. But I mean, we probably said the same thing about Levi.
I did.
Yeah.
So I actually said, who does he get in over? And I remember talking to someone about it and we were like, it's probably Jasper Fletcher. And Jasper Fletcher turned into an absolute stud, like a better player. But yeah, I mean, Ashcroft obviously didn't win it, but it wasn't because of opportunity.
That's true. Although that has to end at some point, right, in the cycle. If no one's going out, then it's even harder again for Animal.
Well, right now, just as a quick exercise, who could feasibly not be in that Brisbane side?
The only opportunity I see is Lockie Neal fading away, which I'm not going to predict. But
so, like actual position, yeah. I mean, that's one. Actual positions like Archie leaves, but then at the same time, Oscar Allen is straight in, which is probably Gallup. Draper comes in for McInerney, who didn't play much anyway last year.
Yep.
Is Fort out of the team?
That remains to be seen with the extra spot there.
Yeah. I'm probably digressing a little bit too much there, but
yeah, possibly. We were talking about midfielders.
to draw a line underneath it, it's going to be difficult for Annable to get a spot.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It is hard to envisage there. Similarly, I don't see Sam Cumming getting a lot of serious midfield minutes next year to be a contender.
Okay.
It's not that he's not ready-made. I feel like it's harder for him to grow into the role he's going to play.
So what do you think he'll do next season?
I think he'll play a little bit of forward, get some on-ball time. I'd be surprised if it's enough to be a contender for the Rising Star.
They were pretty liberal, though, this year with giving minutes to Lawler, for example.
Yeah, I think Lawler is a different prospect, and I think a power forward as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like he was playing on-ball minutes. Like
No, it was
serious on-ball minutes.
It was a flexibility thing. But
So could Cumming play that as a forward and win the Rising Star? It seems a little ambitious for me.
No, he'd have to get... I think he would have to play like similar to what, like I said, George Wardlaw sort of did. He'd have to be getting that kind of like at least 50% centre bounce minutes, be in and under, getting his hands on the ball.
I think they'll protect him. Like with Taranto and Hopper and Prestia and that midfield, I think they'll protect Cumming more. If I had to predict.
Yeah, fair call. You've talked me around there.
Yeah, so I think Houghton probably more likely because, if that makes sense, because of the role.
The role.
Yeah.
Yep.
And exactly the same as Houghton, I would say Sam Grew was a better chance than Sam Cumming. Because the difficulty of role, the niche that he can carve out in that team, and the excitement factor, I think that goes a long way to a Rising Star award.
Yeah. I like that. Who's next?
Sully Rovey. You have to say a genuine contender.
Yeah, I think so. I think Essendon are going to be pretty open to having those midfield spots available, at least for a little bit of opportunity. I mean, you think about Parrish has been perennially injured. You've got some players that are good players in there for Essendon, your Caldwells, your Durhams, but they're going to want to get these guys. They're going to want to get games into them. I would say, though, with Sullivan Roby, again, that forward mid role, probably what you just said about Cumming, the one for me that probably stands out a little bit more is Sharp, just because he's so ready-made. And I think probably part of that is he can't play anywhere else.
Yeah, that's true. Roby's so ready-made. The three prospects Essendon got are all going to play round one.
Yeah, they
I
are.
think be factors. I'd be surprised if Farrow wins it off a half-back flank, where I presume he's going to start.
Yeah, it'd be unlikely.
It'd be pretty unlikely. He's a good player, but I'm not knocking him. But
particularly when you bring those 2024 guys in as well.
Xavier Taylor, though, at Melbourne, I think is a different story.
I like that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because he is more well-rounded than a Farrow, I think.
He's so confident.
Yeah.
I think that comes into it as well.
Probably going to see a bit of the ball too in that back line.
It does matter though, because you can imagine these young guys going into a football club where, a lot of their idols are and people that they look up to. It's pretty easy just to accept getting told what to do. So if someone does have that big personality and you think that, like someone in the comments actually just mentioned before, apparently something happened with Essendon with Xavier Taylor where he said their back line needs work in an interview and it pissed them off or something. And I guess that's the confidence that he brings.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's hard to say whether you'd like that or not to hear it.
I think
it depends how it's said.
Oh, it does.
It depends. You got to be in the room and listen to it, to be fair.
Yeah, absolutely. You could take it either way, but it's confident.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to pick out a few rather than go through every other player in the draft. Let's pick out a few that I think, and if you can think of anyone.
I think we'll accept that players like Schubert, Marsh are unlikely.
Yeah.
Those taller players.
I think someone in the chat said Oscar Taylor earlier. I don't mind that just because of the dashing way he plays. Again, GWS don't tend to play kids like round one and give them 20 games. But I think in terms of style, same logic as some of the other guys.
For a number of years, they've waited. I mean, even like a Tom Green, we didn't really see the best of him for 3-4 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he'd be a chance.
Yep. Lockie Doverson's got to be a contender in my opinion. That comes down to opportunity.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of ready-madeness and how we can slip straight into a role, if North Melbourne's getting a bit of supply, and they should improve next year, he'll produce enough highlights to be a contender, I think.
I think the same applies to Lockie Doverston as we talked about with Job Shanahan. He instantly becomes, as that genuine small forward, he instantly becomes the best one in the crop, and they're going to prioritise him.
Yeah.
I think that matters.
Yep. Past that, it's a little bit harder to see.
Yeah.
I'd say. Just having a look. It's hard to predict, a Matt Leray wins it. Just because, it's speculative.
Pencil him in.
Can't rule it out. Oldie Dempsey was picked 50-odd.
Yeah. Carmichael just slots in for the Dogs.
I mean, that'd be crazy, wouldn't it? Or
usurps Oscar Baker and wins the Rising Star.
Or Harry Kyle. Well, who knows?
Someone's put Josh Lindsay. That's probably a fair shout.
Yeah, I'd be surprised, to be honest. Is he a high volume winner?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like he'd have to.
He's done it against VFL players.
Yeah.
Won the medal in the Futures game, won the medal in the Academy game against Coburg. Mid-20s, but they're shorter games as well.
Yeah.
He could get a lot of it. It all comes down to role, doesn't it? And responsibility if you give him a lot, but he's a pretty confident young man.
Yeah. He'll get a nom for sure. Potentially an early one, but I'm not sure if I see the total upside there enough.
I don't think games are an issue with Josh Lindsay, right?
Getting games?
Getting games, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, we did talk about how the back line is kind of filling out at West Coast. But,
surely you fit him in though.
But he plays a niche role, so I think he plays round one, if I had to guess.
Even if that means Starcevic to the midfield or Hoff to the midfield or wing or whatever.
Yeah, I think they'd make it work. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So having said all that, should we go to top three?
Yes. Yeah, sorry, I just read a comment. North's forward line is so clogged with shit. Is that what you mean? Dobberson's going to get in that team for sure.
Yeah. So we do have a couple of super chats there. We will get to them. I just want to round out this segment with some predictions, top three.
Okay. Do you want me to go?
Yes.
Number one. God, I really want to go Job Shanahan. You've talked me into that so much. I'm going to go Job Shanahan 3.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to go
That'd be great.
Xavier Taylor, number 2.
Nice.
And I'm going to go Jagger Smith, number 1.
I like it.
I know that's low-hanging fruit, but I think he is the most ready-made to do it. I mean, I watched him just get 30 touches every game last year.
Yeah.
Rarely plays a bad game.
No, that's true. I mean, the same was said about Levi, though, somewhat. Maybe not to the same extent, to be fair. But
he was definitely the favourite, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Coming in ready to go. I think the difference there, though, Levi got very limited midfield minutes for the Lions. I think Jagger will get more time.
Fair. That's a good point. I'll say number 3, Lockie Doverston.
That's hot.
I'll say number 2,
Blake Threadgold.
Jagger Smith. Number 1, you guys almost forgot I was an Eagles fan. I'm going to say Willem Dersma.
Really?
Yeah, I guess the difference between us, I think we both agree he's a good player. Is he necessarily going to be the best player out of anyone we talked about? No. But I do think that he's exciting enough, powerful enough, and maybe not in a contested sense, but like explosively and that line-breaking dash, I think he'll get plenty of the footy in the back line. If he stays fit, I genuinely think he's a strong chance.
I think he'll improve strongly across the season, but there'll be a conversation. I think there'll be an adaptation period in like the first 10 rounds of the season, and then he'll probably finish strongly, and we'll be having that conversation like, did he do enough at the front end of the year?
Yeah, I mean, maybe. But, I mean, the fact he's played VFL and played well gives me some confidence. West Coast is obviously a bit of a shambles on field, but if you're playing in the back half and taking marks, like, you can probably still execute your role.
Yeah.
So
it is funny, though. Like, we look at all these, narratives around this stuff. Like, I reckon last year, the guy who played the best football when he actually played was still just Sam Lawler.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's not someone that I would have expected to win a Rising Star. I would have said he would have taken longer to perform. And he probably was the best player. Like Murphy Reid was the most consistent, but Lawler played the best football.
Yeah.
And still could have won it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Zeke Ulen could easily be that example.
Yeah.
I mean, he probably could also win it. I probably should have included him. But when you think about it, there's a lot
I just realised I said he was like up there with the top guy, and I did put him in my top 3.
Yeah.
You forget about players when you're actually going through it.
If I'm honest as well, I think if Jagger is in the top 3, he wins it, or he's not in it at all. And I put him second.
Yeah, okay.
So, but who cares? I'm a biased Eagle.
I'm backing him in. People shouting Dyson Sharp, I think that's a good shout as well.
Yeah. Could go either way there.
I see, like, with a Roby, I see, and probably Cumming fits this as well a little bit too, that kind of forward mid-type player. And I've just talked about how Sam Lawler did it really well in his first season, but they just tend to take a little bit longer. Like, they have moments. I remember LDU, when he was coming in, you went, oh, look at that like wicked step that he's got. But he didn't really put a season together.
Yeah.
So it's less likely for me.